Okie dokie. Hello everyone. Welcome to my stream. Thanks for joining in. Today I'm brought to you by my parents' crappy internet connection, so we'll see how this goes. Also, my travel microphone, of course, is broken, so you get potato quality MacBook audio. Sorry. But it's still gonna be some good stuff today. So stick around. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe you won't. Who knows? Today, for the stream, I'm going to be working on the V6 release for TypeScript-ESLint, which is a lot of work. It's going to take a while. One of the things on that release that I want to do is, where is it? Here we go. Changes to the recommended sets for, where is it? For 6.0.0. In the side, I'm mucking around with my shortcuts. Okay, so every time we do a major version release in TypeScript-ESLint, we audit the list of rules in our recommended rule sets. I've linked in the chat both the V6 issue, which is pending, and the old closed 5.0 issue. For those who haven't played with us much before, TypeScript-ESLint provides a set of recommended configurations you can extend from. For example, recommended, which is something we recommend all TypeScript projects extend from. And also recommended requiring type checking, which is something that we recommend almost all projects to extend from. Just a little slower to run some of these more powerful rules. And especially for the two I just mentioned, recommended and that requiring type checking, we consider it a breaking change to modify that list of rules, what's in them or not. So every time we do a major version, that to us is a nice little opportunity to mess with that list. So just looking at these as an example from V5, JSON overload signatures is a rule that now has its own docs page. Here we go. It requires that a function overload signatures be consecutive. And we say that we continue to recommend it as an error. It's always been recommended as an error, and we're going to keep it that way. And I'm just going to find an example of a rule that was changed. Explicit module boundary types, we say a lot of people are against this rule and turn it off. It's entirely stylistic, so it was removed from the recommended config. Removed from recommended. All right. So what I'm going to do is go through the whole list of rules and figure out where they're supposed to go. Now, obviously, I have to tweet this. First up, and probably all of today's stream, setting up the rules setting up any change proposals for recommended rule lists. Note, I did make a nice little utility pull request. Where is it? Here we go. I'm not going to go into this PR because I want to dive into the table generation, but I actually made a quick little node script that logs that same header summary from the previous issue, and then a markdown table of all of our rules with a to-do in the comments. And you know what? Actually, you know what? I will go a little bit into this because I just thought of something I want to do. First, within that, I will paste this in the Twitch chat. I'm going to be adding more info to the script, to a script that auto generates that table to start. Okay. Great. So I'm gonna look at this. Now I'll note before I dive into it locally, this PR is a little, I don't know, it's got some gunk on top. because we don't directly fully support ESM modules internally in our source code yet. So I do this like weird await import of a dist folder. This is fine. Anyway, I've also been trying out this new terminal that someone, a very nice individual named Elvis, suggested to me. The terminal is called Warp. It's on warp.dev. I'm also going to just post that in the thread. Shout out to warp.dev, trying it out today for the stream. I'll give hearts. Cool. All right, so it's a lot like a regular terminal, but every command gets its own little block, so you can more easily see what's in a command. Like right now, I'm just selecting this command's output only. And I really like the visual distinguishing between them. That's pretty sweet. I don't like how it's aligned to the bottom, but I'm just not used to that. So I'm gonna try to work with it, and we'll see if I end up really hating it or not. Another nice thing that's similar to Windows Terminal, it's got a command palette. I just pressed Command P on my laptop. So like if I wanted to say, change the theme, I just press the shortcut. I could also do theme picker, for example. Enable, themes sync with OS. That's nice. Theme picker. Dracula. All right. Oh, and they've got ones with backgrounds. That's pretty cute. Cyberwave. Ooh. Dark City. You know what? I'm just gonna stick to dark. Thanks, Elvis, for the recommendation. Anyway, code, TypeScript. Ooh, look at that autocomplete. Oh. Okay. All right. And now I'm back to terminal. Or was it GHPR checkout? I'm gonna check out this pull request. Here we go. Generated breaking changes. All right. So if I cd into packages, ESLint plugin, and then do yarn, what was it? npm run shows a list of things. Here we go. Yarn generate breaking changes. Oh, back to yarn. There's this nifty little package markdown table that I'm using to quickly print a markdown table. So it takes in some array of arrays and then poops out a nice little table there, which we can then use in our issues. Ooh, that's better. I'm on my mom's computer desk and the chair was set to very high because I don't know why. It seems weird. Anyway, I just see a few people joined. Hello, welcome. Thanks for coming, everyone. I posted in the chat and on my Twitter. Side note, don't know how long Twitter's going to still be a thing, so enjoy it while it lasts. But I'm working on this script that generates a table of rules for TypeScript-ESLint. So I'm just going to run it now. Here we go. It generates this nice little markdown table. Whee! Panel to right. Maybe I can see them all. And it's pretty wide. Panel back to bottom. All right. So right now, it doesn't actually put any information in these columns. What is dep? Oh, deprecated, recommended with type checking strict. So that's like which config it's in for these three. So I'm gonna try to add that in here. Now the VS Code JavaScript debug terminal is actually pretty awesome. I'm gonna see if it just magically works. If I put a breakpoint here and then packages ESLint plugin, yarn generate breaking changes. Does this? Yeah, look at that. I get the breakpoint immediately. Very nice. All right. And can I put the breakpoints? inside. Yeah. All right, so I get rule name and meta. Awesome. Cool, which means I want to meta ... docs so that I can look at the rest of the information for the rule. If you ever want to see Ryan Hawkins, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. Oh, by the way, I keep forgetting to mention, if anyone wants to chat about anything, just speak up. If stuff I'm doing, something in development in general, life, let me know if you have any questions or comments. Woo, first time chat. Hello. If you're ever curious about the contents of a rule, you can always go to our repo and look up the rule name. Adjacent overload signatures, for example. I'm going to, where's the copy GitHub permanent link? Just going to paste that in the chat just as a reference. There we go. Yeah. So this meta here that I'm seeing is directly this object here. Oh, and you know what? I think I'm not even going to look at the rules contents. I'm just looking at their metadata. Here we go. So meta, Nartzi, hello. First time chat. Thanks. How are you doing? How are all y'all doing? Oh, chat. It was so awesome meeting you. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it. All right. So, alrighty. Let me clear my old watch things. All right. So we're looking at, let's see, meta.docs.recommended. So if it is recommended as an error, so you know what, let me actually, I'm going to add braces here. So const recommended equals meta.docs, or yeah. If it's recommended, that means meta.docs are recommended. That means it's in either the recommended R or recommended required type checking rule set. And we know that based on whether it is, whether it has the requires type information. There we go. So recommended requires type checking is meta.docs. All right. So this is rule, whether it's new, whether it's an extension rule, which is this extends base rule thing, whether it's deprecated, is that under meta.docs? Meta.deprecated, yeah. Deprecated equals meta. So here we can say if it's deprecated, then yes, otherwise blank string. And the way we actually indicate deprecation is I guess this emoji there. All right. Okay, so that's deprecated. And then if it's recommended, that means it's recommended and not requires type checking. And the next one is yes. So that's this emoji, this stop sign. So here we're saying for each rule, its row in the table is its name, blank string, because I don't know whether it's new in the script. I'll have to fill it in manually. If it extends a base rule, we add this nice little ballot box with check, which actually, ballot box with, is that what, which one is this? I'm using the Mac emoji keyboard. This one. All right. If it's deprecated, we add, what emoji is this? Ooh. I think it's a trash can, we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna play the script. Ooh, look at that. The emoji output in the terminal is not so good. Oh, you know what? We recommend some things be a warning. Oh my God, I didn't even mentally connect. today's voting day. Everyone should vote. That's such a good little segue there. I almost made a joke of saying, so who did you vote for? But I feel like that's out of scope for this stream. But yeah, I'm glad the line is big, meaning people are voting. I'm sad that it was a pain, because I know some people just don't do it because it's a pain. Sigh. But yes, voting is important. For all y'all Americans out there, vote today if you haven't yet. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy into this issue the output from my command, and we're going to preview what it looks like. What is bang book? Here we go. I don't know why it's indented. Oh my god, I know why it's indented, because my string is indented. Here we go. I'm being silly. A little tip that I know of: if you got indented stuff in your GitHub field, copy and paste into VS Code, and then you can do multi-select on it. All right, so this is what it looks like so far. We've filled out the stop signs for required and required with type checking, blah. And now I want to do strict. The way we know that something is in the strict rule set is recommended equals strict. Also, recommended warn. Does anyone actually do that? Oh, so we do recommend that there are some that are warnings. Okay. So actually, it's recommended. It's actually error warn dot includes recommended. Includes? What is this complaining about? Why is this giving me the red squigglies? What is happening? How often do I stream? I generally stream twice a week, Tuesdays at 2:30 Eastern and Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. But that's when I'm not traveling for conferences. So if I'm out, you never know. But yeah, happy to have you join for either or both of those. And I do sometimes do special streams, like if I have a guest who doesn't fit into that timing. Ooh, I realize now what it is. Oh yeah, yes, and every other Friday on Jen's, yes, on Jen's stream, which is a great place. Oh, what is this complaining about? Ugh, I hate this little quirk of type checking here. This is such an annoyance, and I wish TypeScript would do something about it, but I don't know what it could do. My recommended is false, or error, or strict, or warn. And here I'm saying this array doesn't include recommended, but it's giving me an error because the array is inferred to be type string. So I'm just gonna say recommended, and it's a little annoying, but whatever. What I normally do on stream, mostly ESLint stuff. Yeah, I've done all sorts of projects. In the past, I've worked on a Next.js site for the Halfstack conference website. I've done random personal projects, but mostly I do TypeScript-ESLint stuff. Ooh, how do I know which errors? By the way, great chat today. Thank you, the two of you. This is wonderful. How do I know which errors to bypass, overlook? I try not to overlook or bypass any. Like I try to directly, what's that commercial? Apply to the forehead. But most of the, like if let's say I've got this error here, back to the one I was at before. I try to get an instinct for which errors are most common. And then if I see an error that I don't have an instinct for, I try to figure out why that error is happening and then the root cause of it. So like this error in particular, which I kind of skipped over earlier, apologies if I just didn't say things. I see that my recommended the value here is type union of these four things. It can be either one of these three strings or false. And TypeScript is complaining that Boolean is not assignable to type string. And actually, this is a good walkthrough of how I normally look at things. If I'm getting a squiggly on something, I see what that thing's type is. And then I look at the first and the last line of the big TypeScript complaint. Here we see that the very bottom, Boolean is not assignable to type string, is a part of type string or Boolean array is not assignable to type string or null or undefined array. Now, I kind of have an instinct for this already, but just knowing TypeScript, I can see that this Boolean is not assignable to type string means that my value, which I see can be a Boolean here with the false, is being provided to something that doesn't allow Booleans, which in this case is the returned array, because Markdown tables table must be string or null or undefined. But my instinct here was just, oh, I see, hang on, it's complaining about Boolean. None of these should be Booleans. I'm returning strings. Oh, wait, this one I forgot to add a ternary. Let me know if any of that rambling made sense. It makes sense to me, but I don't know if it actually does to the world. Have I done podcast and or streamed with guest types of thing? My voice would be so great in like a talk show. Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I like to be calm and supportive with my voice. I think like many people, I find my voice intensely irritating to listen to. So good for you that you don't have that. I do podcasts. Actually, I've been meaning to revamp my personal site to include a list of the podcasts I've done. I've been on JS Party, and I've done Jen Junod's stream and a bunch of others, mostly smaller ones. Someone in real life just yelled my name. You'll be back. Okay. But yeah, no, if you have any podcasts you want to see me on, please do refer. I love going on them. Ryan, yeah, Ryan and I are going to chat in December about open source and TypeScript. You'll be back. See ya. Cool. And also just before I forget, I was putting in this recommended thing and it was strict. Whoops. Strict, which is this little yield sign, which VS Code is showing as an old style emoji. Bleh. You know what? I've been thinking about starting a podcast off and on, but I just don't have the time. I wish I did. That would be so nice. Is it legal to use non-ASCII characters in code? Madness angel emoji. First time chat from, wait, Javier? Are you the Javier I know? Yes, it is legal. Thank you for asking. It is one of my favorite things to do. I think emojis are a wonderful way to add both personality and succinct expressions into your code, docs, etc. A single emoji, like the angel smiling face or the laughing with tears joy face, brings with it so much rich context. It's fantastic. By the way, I want to shout out my friend Javier. Hi, Javier. Cool, yeah. So now I just added strict and we have it added to the table. Very good. I also would love to hear anyone else's opinions on emojis. I personally love them. I think that it's also really good for team culture. Sorry, someone's vacuuming in 2 rooms over. I think it's good for team culture to have emojis, especially for new people who are joining a team. It can feel like everyone is this super smart, important professional. And emojis help break down that kind of misconception. I hope it's a misconception. If you're on a team where everyone is too serious for emojis, I mean, maybe that's what you want, but I would leave, personally. Shout out emojis. That's my rant. I could give a talk on this, why emojis are good. And if I ever do start a podcast, which I absolutely don't have the time for and would love to have time for, that would be great. Oh my God, I love emojis, but I hate just the slightly smiling emoji. I go back and forth on that one so hard. The slightly smiling one. It's so like generic and good, but people have co-opted this one, the slightly smiling face, to be like passive aggressive, and that's so annoying to me because for so long you were able to use it as like a default smile. which is part of why I do just smile now as a common emoji. I think it looks better on Windows. It looks a little less weirdly cheerful, but that's just me. What if you're trapped in a C family language? Well, Javier, you should don't do C. That's the answer. That's the answer. Yeah. All right. So I've gotten this preview to work, and I still have a bunch of to-dos. So we see a whole bunch of rules here are actually enabled in just the strict rule set, which I think is great. What I need to do now is go through each of these rules and figure out what changes we want to make. I also need to figure out if they are newly added since 5.0 and fill that out in the new column. Lastly, I also want to change the recommended options for some of these rules. Some of them have U+1 F607 lol. Some of these rules have had good options added that we couldn't enable in the recommended rule set because it would be a breaking change and infuriate many users. So I guess the pending would be annotate which rules are new since version 5.0. Audit each rule to see whether it should be moved in or out of a recommended r/rwt/strict. Audit each rule to see whether we should change its recommended options. Ooh, did I see the Rome announcement? You know, before I actually look at that, let me just make this a checklist in GitHub. Generate starting table with. It's a great question to use the Rome announcement. All right. Cool. I'm just gonna post this on, in the Twitch chat real quick, just to bump, because this is where it's all starting from. And using that PR. Oh, I already posted on Twitter. Awesome. And then I will answer the question in Rome. I just gotta git add all, commit, and added more info to cool. Yeah, so Rome, was it 10.0 did they just come out with? Rome. I was confused seeing it at first because I thought it was 1.0. But yeah, they posted a tweet. Again, I don't know how long this Twitter thing's lasting, so enjoy it while it lasts. There we go. Yeah. So, very exciting. I like the idea of Rome. I think that the community is experiencing a lot of pain from having to configure a whole bunch of things. Like, I have a pending blog post of just all the stuff you have to do to configure TypeScript and ESLint and Prettier and such to work together. So it's really nice to have a unified thing. I honestly haven't taken too deep of a look at Rome. I like that it makes things simpler, but I worry that it might be too early for the community to really solidify on a monolithic approach. I'm not saying it is, I don't know, and I'm a little worried because we're still kind of figuring out some of the major APIs or syntax shenanigans in code. I do really like that their linter is really informative. Rich and comprehensive diagnostics is, just look at this, is a beautiful diagnostic here. So yeah, I'm going to keep working on my thing, but if Rome ever wants to collab with me, they can definitely reach out. And what I'm also wondering is, actually, thanks for the reminder, I've been meaning to look into this. Do they have typed rules supports? Typed rules. Like floating promises. So like a lot of TypeScript-ESLint rules require type information. And if they want to use that, they have to use the type checker. So like immediately there is a blocker for me from using this if their rules, where do they even store the rules? Okay, the rules are written in Rust. Here we go. So unless they have a way to call into the type checker from TypeScript, which is currently only available in JavaScript, then it's just not powerful enough. Like the real draw for me of using TypeScript-ESLint is it's not only that you need to use us to use ESLint. It's that we have a lot of like really good rules that require type information. Like this type of rule, TypeScript-ESLint await Venable, is not currently possible in an architecture such as Rome's, to my knowledge. Like you need a Rust type checker, or at least a way to call to the type checker through Rust, through WebAssembly. But no, would love to know your thoughts on this. What do you think of Rome? As long as there are ways to customize stuff, and as long as it's not Rust-based plugin API, I think the community will probably adopt. What is the plugin API in this thing? Do they have a docs site? Yes, they do. Docs. Plugin. Where's the plugins? Are there no plugins? Yeah, I think they have a little bit to do on the docs site. Ooh, nice. I like having good philosophy pages. Oh, plugin system in general. Cool. Rules recommended true. That's an interesting choice right there. Putting in the how do you configure individual rules? There we go. Linter enable true rules. Correct. Oh, interesting. They categorize rules by what they flag for. Ooh, yeah. Like when TurboPack was announced, people were wondering about the plugin API since Webpack plugin ecosystem is huge. Yeah, being able to use existing plugins is big. I will also say though that most small to medium projects really don't use non-standard plugins. Like I've migrated a few people from Webpack v4 to v5, for example, or from Webpack v4 to the v5 Webpack that Next provides you through their configs. And like unless you're doing real weird fancy stuff, it's as long as the main plugins like CSS and JS type stuff are ported, you're fine. Which I think is actually a really good sign for the industry. I think the fact that many people have had to use weird fancy Webpack plugins is because we're so fragmented as an ecosystem. In part. Sometimes people just want to do weird stuff. Anyway, I should get back to the rules stuff. I'm glad we agree, by the way. Makes me happy to be validated. All right. So, I actually want to see, is there a way to figure out when rules were added? I don't think we actually have, releases set up so that, also, who was reacting to our releases? Thank you, people. I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't actually know if there's a way for us to figure out for each rule whether it's new from a particular version. I guess we could oh my god, we could import from an old version. Oh my god, I'm seeing the pseudocode now. No, thank you. I like getting sidetracked. This is great. It's good conversation. Thank you for bringing it up. So pseudocode. Function get new rules as of 6 major version. All right, so I'm thinking one, get the current list of rules already done. 2, use some CDN thing for the 5.x version of TypeScript-ESLint. Get the keys that exist in 1 and not 2. All right, so what I'm doing now is where is the to-do and the pull request? Annotate which rules are new since version 5.0. Chow or anyone else watching, does anyone have a like a good CDN or package distribution thing that shows like old versions of things? Is Unpackage still popular? Does Unpackage have a search? Ugh. Oh, nice, Unpackage. I love the lag because it means that I can do things and still feel like I came to it on my own, and also means that you can suggest stuff and feel like you came to it on your own. So we both collaboratively got to Unpackage. Awesome. All right. So this is the URL for, oh geez, for React production. That's so small. What? Surely there's more to React than just this. It's got to depend on something. I don't know. Anyway, TypeScript-ESLint, ESLint plugin at 5.0. Dist index, is that right? Yeah, though your stream latency has been pretty darn good. I tap in the chat box and it appears in your on-screen like instantly. Ooh, so actually, fun fact, actually, I don't know why I said but. Yeah, fun fact, I'm using a really nice thing called showmy.chat. Have you played with this before? It is a like a little iframe that Ben Myers made. Ta-da! I don't know if this would affect if your Twitch game is infant, then mine is at best toddler. Like I really have almost intentionally avoided learning what I'm doing so that I can have that nice vibe of just playing around. Like I don't do the thumbnails with the reaction faces or anything. Yeah. So thank you. I'm glad the lag is good. My parents' Xfinity, or no, my parents' Verizon coming in handy. All right. So, oh yeah, and Twitch TV, Ace. Oh my God, what is? Shoot, I want to link to Ben. Oh, semantics. That's what it is. He has this clever semantics dev. There we go. Yeah, great person to talk to if you ever want to just. Oh my God, it's starting in 4 minutes. Pity I'm still going. LOL. If you ever just want to chat things. But okay, so configs all comes from /configs/all, which might need a .js at the end. I feel like I once saw an equivalent to Unpackage that takes a bunch of disparate CommonJS or ESM files and like poops them all into, I don't know, like a distributed module chunk something or other you can load. But this is actually, wow, this is actually pretty reasonable. It's just JavaScript. You can put browse after? Oh my God, thank you. What is your Twitter? I'm gonna thanks. Super shout out. Yeah. Oh, it's Nartc. There we go. Nice. Thanks. Where is it? Oh no. Browser? C. Wait, oh no, is it not a thing? Oh. Thank you. Browse / plugin 5.0. Let's see what it gives me. And I'll just update the tweet while it loads. Browser. I'm just browser. Come on. Unpackage, I guess no one accesses us on Unpackage, so like you wouldn't expect this to be cached, but this perf is really Perf is really a browser at 026. What is happening? These redirects are killing me. All right, so I'm just going to give you a shout out for advice. I'm going to have to look at this. Later. Cool. But anyway, I did actually already find the file that I need. So this is just me getting excited thanks to your points. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the 500. So current version, old version. So that's const old URL equals, and then plugin at old version. And then actually I don't even need the current version. I just have rules. You know what? I'm gonna collapse this console log and collapse that one so I can put it all on the screen at the same time. All right. So current list of rules is just rules. And then is fetch a thing I can do? Can I node fetch? Yeah. Equals await fetch. Old URL. Const response. Const text equals await response.text. I believe that's how you get it. It's complaining that fetch doesn't exist. So my TypeScript types don't know that I have a fetch global. That's annoying. Instead of messing with TypeScript, I will say I'm pretty sure we just have cross-fetch available. So I'm just gonna import fetch from cross-fetch. I think that's how you do it. ESLint plugin, JSON, dev dependencies, cross-fetch. There we go. All right. Oh, this needs to be an async function to use awaits. I'm gonna just console log text. All right, so now we have gotten the URL. I'm just gonna run this function in my console. Okay. Now, if I go to my JavaScript debug terminal and we run the script, it should put a breakpoint. Oh, cannot use import statement outside of a module. Import or const fetch equals await import. I really hate that I have to do this, but we haven't set up ESM yet internally, and you know what? I just don't have the energy to deal with it. All right, so I've hit the breakpoint here. Start running the function. Fetch is not a function. Let me guess. It's going to be like fetch.defaults. .defaults is a function. Yep. Because the module exports a module object, and then it has a default member. Actually, is it also fetch.fetch? Yes. This is, by the way, something a lot of packages do for their exports, where they will export a thing that you would expect under a particular name, like the cross-fetch package exports it under .fetch, but then they'll also export it under .default. So if we do, I'm betting fetch.default triple equals fetch.fetch. Yeah, true. Love it. Okay. And if I run again, now if I do fetch and debug terminal, we see fetch is the function I expected. Come on. All right, we got the text. Cannot find I forgot to pass in the old version. I know this because it says can't find package, TypeScript-ESLint plugin at undefined. That would explain. Someone asked earlier, how do I know which errors to skim over? Well, I should have looked at this red squiggly and known. All right. There we go. All right. I love messing up on stream, and I love even harder knowing what went wrong almost immediately. When I mess up on stream, it makes me feel foolish, which I think is a good thing for people to see. it's good to see folks who know stuff be fools. But then also egotistically, I feel so smart when I know what went wrong. It's almost like I never went wrong in the first place. All right. Yep, text is this friend. So I'm going to throw this out there. Does anyone know what API I might use in JavaScript to evaluate this arbitrary string as JavaScript? This is going to be real painful to anyone who is a self-respecting JavaScript developer who was there when people used this API frequently. I want to turn this string. So like what I could do actually is I could do like text dot slice or text dot substring. I forget which one. Text dot index of squiggly, and that gets me here. But I still have this whole string that I wanna, you know what? And then text dot last index of +1. There we go. So now text is an object, and the answer was eval. I'm gonna eval this. Const all object equals this. Const all old rules equals eval all object. Hate me, please. I currently am amused. Shout out anyone, if let me know if you've ever had to use eval before. For those who haven't used eval, this is a function that takes in a piece of string, a code as a string. It takes in a string, pardon me, and then evaluates it as JavaScript, which is super insecure and bad practice. You never want to eval. It's super slow. I hate this already. It's just like a really bad practice. But you know what? It's gonna be the thing. Yeah, it works. Oh boy. There we go. What does this complain about? It gets me the things as a JavaScript object, so that's cool. Yeah. Rules. Old rules. Here we go. So if I do this in my terminal, here we go. Old rules spelled correctly. There we go. So now I have evaled this text, which contains all these settings, and oh, you know what? I'm going to do something even better. I'm going to say old rule names equals new set. This thing, eval that thing dot rules. Now, if I eval this in the console, I should have, oh wait, no, it's new set of object.keys. There we go. So I just want to get the names of all these new rules. So if I do this, and I should get them as a set. Yep. Where the entries are all the rules. Whoops. The fact that no one has shouted at me from the chat about how I shouldn't be using eval means one or both of two things. One, you've left because I'm evaling, or two, you're stunned into silence about my bad practice. Or I guess the third thing of you recognize this. This is like kind of, I guess, maybe an okay to do explain. Oh, what did you miss? Welcome back. Glad you got home okay. I am using this unpackaged CDN to get an old version of the list of rules, the lint rules in TypeScript-ESLint. Oh, just you wait. I'm getting this list of old rules from TypeScript-ESLint and storing them in memory, but I want to take it as a string and turn it into JavaScript object. And right now, the simplest, quickest, easiest way to take an arbitrary string and turn it into a JavaScript object is to use the eval global, which is a function that takes in a string and evaluates it, runs it as JavaScript. but everyone hates eval because it's super unsafe and the runtimes can't optimize it for performance very well because it's some arbitrary unknown string. So this is the whole thing. Type of. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to like fix the linter. Would parsing from JSON work? Yes. One issue there is the string isn't already in JSON format. And I could like strip down to, actually, you know what? Yeah, no, what I could do is I could like strip down to like remove this code and then have just these things and then replace any single quote with double quote. But then we have ones where we would have to replace, like I would have to do some text manipulation there, and it's just easier to use eval. Like eval is a bad practice generally, but in this case, I'm doing a utility script that like I'm just going to run manually once in a while. It's not something we'd expect our users to run. So it's fine. But good point, really good point. Could I, like in theory, if this were going to run in production, I would do something like converting to JSON for sure, yeah. Type rules object equals, and I'm just going to make a type here. Oops, make an interface. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a type. So what I'm doing is I'm importing, or I'm writing code that's like not detect, like TypeScript could not possibly understand what type this stuff is supposed to be. So I'm gonna use a type assertion, which is telling it, hey, I know you think it's some other type or impossible to know, but I'm just gonna tell you what the type is. All right. And rules is, oh boy. So I'm just gonna extract this. Const wat equals this thing. All right, so what is type of import rules index? So what, oh my God. I don't even know how to explain the shenanigans that are happening here. Rules. All right, so I've told TypeScript that old rules object, old object text. I've told TypeScript that I have this old rules object, which has an object with a rules property, and that rules property is the type of what happens when you import source rules. Actually, I'm going to call this type rules file equals. To be honest, I don't even know how to explain this silliness. I'm massaging the type system. Can I increase the font size a bit? Absolutely. I tried opening the stream on my iPhone and almost went blind. LOL. Sorry. I certainly wouldn't want to hurt your vision. Okay. Here we go. Perfect. All right. So this old rules object is temp variable equals old object text, and then I'm collecting the names of all the keys from there. Normally we wouldn't condone using the, by the way, if what I'm saying makes no sense, please do ask questions. I realize I'm like combining like weird old JavaScript APIs and uncommon shenanigans in the type system. Just let me know. But this is an internal only script, and it's the easiest way to convert the text from JS format, the JS ROS and text into runtime object. Shrug. Or you can always ask me later if none of this makes sense. Okay, so const new rule names equals new set object.keys rules. I wish I had a set subtract. It's like I want to return new rule names dot subtract, I don't know, old rule names, but that doesn't exist in JavaScript. Just wondering, do we have like a set subtract anywhere? Subtract? No. All right, so what I'm going to do is I've previously memorized how to do this. So I'm going to return array.from old rule names or new rule names. So I don't even need to turn this to a set. I'm going to say what I'm doing is I'm taking the new rule name. So each rule name that now exists, and I'm going to filter them. New rule name to say like only show me new rule names where old rule names doesn't have it. So show me all the new rule names. We are dot filtering where they don't exist in the old. And so now we get const new rule names equals await get new rules as a major option 500. And if I run this code, hopefully, I don't think I have any breakpoints set up. Oh, underscore is not defined. Can I do this? Come on. All right, and what happens if I eval this text? Why is it crashing? Okay, there we go. Please work. I have a lot of breakpoints set up. And the terminal says my breakpoint never hits. I thought I put one here. Let's run it again. I just want to see the results. Ooh, what is this chat? Use debugger. Oh yeah. Why is it saying temp is not defined? That's so annoying. Let temp. So what if I create a temporary variable or let's old, oh my God, let old rule object and then eval this. So I'm saying with this exclamation mark, I have a variable said to be this type, and I promise you, exclamation mark, bang, I promise you it will be filled in. Come on, work. Oh my God, did it do the thing? New rule names. Wow, wait. What? This is too many rule names. We had, surely these don't all only exist. What? This is too many. Why are there so many? I'm gonna put another breakpoint in. I'm gonna look at that filter. All right, so what is new rule names and old rule names? Oh, old rule names has at TypeScript-ESLint. Oh my God, I just realized I'm comparing two different objects. If we look at, let's just look at the first keys of old rule names. We look at, what? Oh yeah, old rule names 0. God dang it, what is old rule names? Array.from of 0, getting the first entry here. It has the TypeScript-ESLint prefix. And then if we look at new rule names, they don't have the, oh my God, they don't have the TypeScript-ESLint prefix. So I can just do this. TypeScript-ESLint, new rule name. Now if we run this same filter, okay, there we go. Look at that. Now there are only 10 new rule names. So we have successfully found all the rule names that exist in our current version of TypeScript-ESLint, but not the 5.0 version. As I say that out loud, I feel like it doesn't sound very exciting, but to me, this is actually pretty exciting because it's less work that I'll have to do generating the table. Excuse me. I'm putting myself to sleep. Okay. So now in our table generator, I'm going to make this a set. Rule name. And if it's new, then the header we put in is, I don't remember what we put for new, so nothing. New rule names is, let's make this a set so I can do dot has over on lookups, yay. And this was a set of, promise of set of string. Alrighty. Successful debugging. And just looking at the old issue, new was, oh, the ballot. Wait. We never, what emoji? Okay, this is, I want audience participation here. What emoji should I use to indicate that a rule is new? So like new to TypeScript-ESLint. My current default would be, ooh, green plus sign. That's a good one. Thank you. I was going to say like check or something, but you know, I like green plus sign. Plus. Wait, is there a green plus sign? Ooh, there is a new emoji. I did forget about that. Green plus? Ah, we don't have green plus, but I like new actually. So I'm going to do new and I'm going to explicitly say new equals new to TypeScript. Added to TypeScript-ESLint. Okay, good, we're in agreement. All right, let's run this bad boy. We're gonna run it outside the debugger so it doesn't hit my breakpoints. And copy and paste. Done in 5 seconds. That was a weird little slowdown at the end. Let's see what this looks like. Preview. Look at this. The new. Very nice. Very nice. This is great. Gonna scroll down. Yeah, got a few new ones. Update comments. And actually, one other thing I'm noticing is that these linked to the rule, whereas, you know, I just realized I should switch this to, oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, the old one's linked to the rule. So if I edit, we can see it's like a URL that's set up at the very bottom with these like, fun fact, you can do this in Markdown. You can set up these little references here. I'm just going to do that inline because I'm lazy. So for a rule name, that's, there we go. Oh boy. Gonna have backticks, so the rule name is in code formatting, and then HBS, TypeScript-ESLint.io rules/rule name. All right, if we run this again, we get, it's a little uglier now, but it should be all nice and linky. Ship it. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. That's nice. That's good stuff. Cool. Right. I will update the X. Ooh. Give me one moment. My dad says hello. I think he forgot that I was doing a stream. He's welcome to join, but I don't think he'd enjoy it. All right, cool. I'll tell them everyone said hi. And actually, I realized I shouldn't review. Actually, going to add more features on requesting review. I requested review on this because I thought I was done with this PR that's generating the breaking changes table we're working on. But you know what I'm thinking? Doesn't make sense to request review since I'm still changing it. All right. So we're making great progress. By the way, thanks y'all for staying with me. I really appreciate you. So much less lonely when you have people, even online. So we've gotten through generating starting table and annotating which rules are new. And then what would be next up is auditing each rule to see whether it should be moved in or out of the configs. Recommended with type checking, and strict. That's going to take a while. So I'm just going to go through a few of them over the next 10, 15 minutes or so. Right now it's my time 3:40. Absorbing. And then by 4, I'm gonna say that we should skedaddle because I got things to do. But let me know if there's anyone you think I should raid. So like some other channel to dump everyone over to, because I like raiding. But all right, let's look at our first rule. And before we move too far, okay, we've got a good rule table generated on. I'm just gonna link the PRs over, or PR singular, over to this thing. Now we're going to start auditing rules. First up, adjacent overload signatures. Yay! So if you've never used TypeScript-ESLint or haven't used it deeply, this might be a really good dive into how some of the rules work, or like what some of the rules even are. Okay, gotta take care of the family. All right. Adjacent overload signatures requires that functional overload signatures be consecutive. For example, you can declare that, like, let's just look at an interface, that a function has different ways that it can be called, like this foo function here. And it's good to keep them all next to each other. So I think this is a good rule. It doesn't take any options. It's not configurable. So there's nothing really we need to change here. It's in the recommended config, and it can stay in the recommended config. So I'm just going to go down and remove the to-do from it. You know what? It would be nice to have like a nicely formatted view on this. Okay. I have to zoom out. Okay, sorry. Markdown. Okay. And by the way, I'm gonna... Oh my god, you want to know what my keyboard is? My keyboard is a Mac. Oh, I guess you can't. The angle. It's just a MacBook. I'm sorry. I normally have a nice keyboard. For a while I was using, oh shoot, I forget which mechanical I was using. But then I switched to like one of the standard, like just like $40 Microsoft ergonomic keyboards. Wrist pain. Oh yeah, I'll do a couple more rules. Array type. So array type. This is an M2 MacBook Air. I'm so glad my keyboard is pleasing to you all. That's so funny to me, because I really miss having a mechanical. And I wish there was some way you could have like an Expando mechanical on your laptop for travel, but what's it? Microsoft ergonomic keyboard. I want to say I just have like this. No, it's $50. Oh, okay. Look at you, Microsoft. Yeah, just like one of the basic ones, the 4000, because it's split, and that helps me at home. HHKB. Nerd ASMR. That really is what mechanical keyboards are. Yeah, split is nice for my wrists. There are mechanical splits. I just haven't gotten around to them. Well, one of these days. I'm just not home a lot these months. All right. So array type. Require consistently using either TArray or array of T. This is a rule that doesn't really catch bugs directly. Oh, coworkers have HHKB and they set the keyboard in the laptop while traveling. Pretty nice. That is nice. Ooh, yeah. What is Kinesis add 360? Ooh. Oh, I've seen these are beautiful. Yeah, let me know how this goes. I might get it. Their site leaves a little to be desired. Look at this. Is this like a zoom thing? Or... No, it's just borked. Position sticky is hard. I wonder if it's also broke. I don't even have Firefox on this computer. Lordy. Safari. Yeah, it's broken there too. Get out of here, Safari. Oh, this I've seen too. Does Cassidy Williams use this? Some like very popular person was talking about these. Not you, guy on the page. Beautiful. All right. Array type. This doesn't directly catch bugs, but it is a good stylistic thing. The two here, whatever the type is, array or array of the type with generic brackets. That, you know what? To heck with array type. I'm so interested in this. Who is the Alt F4? Oh, it's a DevOps stream. Cool. I'll load. Thanks. Oh, they have a wireless version. I like wireless for travel, but oh my God, at home I get so annoyed when I have to manage Bluetooth things. Can't stand the Bluetooth. I miss the days when everything was wired, when you had the little 3.5 aux on the phone's little circle port. Oh, heavy's an unfortunate thing. I got back issues. All right, I'm gonna power through a couple rules and then I will go. All right, so array type is like a pure stylistic thing. We enable it in our strict config because we do think it is a good idea, but some users really don't like it. So like a very vocal a minority of users really advocate against the default T array. So we just enable it in our strict config. So done with you. Next up is await thenable. All right. Disallow awaiting a value that is not thenable. All right, so this is actually something we should think about for v6. Some of our rules say thenable. Some of our rules say promise. The vast majority of times, 99.9% of people use promises and thenable interchangeably. Curious, and sorry for being lazy. No laziness, no apologies. Does it have a fixer? Yes. And actually, we added this recently, this little indicator here. Some problems reported by this rule are automatically fixable by the fix command option. So yeah, we should have it in our repo. If I go back to the file, zoom into a human level again, let value array of string, value equals whatever. And then I do ESLint enable next line, script ESLint array type. I think that's the right syntax. Is it here? ESLint enable. I can never remember how to enable rules in line. Well, anyway, yes, it does have a fixer. I'm not going to show you it because, oh wait, no, I will. I can just, let's see, rules, TypeScript, ESLint, array, type, error. Now, okay, yeah, here we go. And yeah, you can even do it in your editor. Beautiful. This was partially me just making sure that that thing on the site isn't broken because I helped write it and thus paranoid that it doesn't work. But yay, it works. Fancy. Yeah, there's no such thing as a lazy programmer, only an efficient programmer. Cool. So yeah, sometimes we call it thenable, which is like the technical broad term for something with a then method. And sometimes we call it promise. We should really standardize on this. So I'm actually going to file an issue as like my last thing for the stream. Because the await thenable rule, other than the fact that the name is kind of confusing, is fine. Like we enable it in the recommend requiring type checking config preset. It's not configurable, so there's nothing more to do. But one last issue to file. And let me just do a quick search. Does anyone mention thenables? Okay. Yeah, so even in the issues people are filing, they refer to things as promises sometimes. So I'm going to say, I don't even know. What category is this? Is this a bug? Is this a feature? I'm going to say docs. I'm going to call this docs / naming. Standardize on promise or thenable in rule names. So I'm just going to do a quick search. We call thenable in, I'm going to go to the rules homepage. Thenable in exactly one rule. One rule directly refers to thenables. And that's TypeScript-ESLint await thenable. And then I can just copy and paste that URL. Pet peeve of mine, I hate how you always get a trailing slash in URLs. I never want it. And other rules refer to promises. And that would be, which rules do that? So I'm just gonna format this text a little bit, make a few entries, and it's floating promises. I'm going kind of quickly because I gotta go, but floating promises. I want to say no misused promises. What else is there? Yep, no misused promises exists. Oh God. No misused, to get that copy and paste plain text. I wish when you paste it in a browser, it would give you the like Microsoft Office style, like which form of pasting did you want? Did you want the rich link? Did you want plain text? And that's, promise function async. TypeScript-ESLint, promise function async. God. Paste away. MO, it's confusing. Let me zoom in just a bit more. It's confusing how only one rule refers to thenables, even though that's technically the correct term. E.g., floating promises should also catch thenables. Actually, I don't know if it should. I'm gonna avoid that. Suggestion. Should we rename the rule for discoverability? Thoughts. My default instinct is no, because yeah, because it's the only one that actually does no floating promises. I haven't re-looked deeply into the rules, but if no floating promises and no misused promises actually work on all thenables and not just promises, capitalize that T, then maybe for clarity versus some rules, then maybe we should call them all thenables, or maybe nobody knows, or maybe most users don't know what a thenable is, and we should always say promises. Yeah, so either it is the case that we should keep it the same because it's technically accurate that this one is thenables and the others are promises, or maybe we should just call them all promises because no one knows what a thenable is. Yeah, unclear. So I'm just going to put this up as an issue, and we'll see what happens. I'm curious, do any of y'all have opinions? Should we call it promise or then boolean rule names always, or only some of the times? What do y'all think? And while y'all are thinking on this, I'm going to post to Twitter and then ask one last time for a recommendation on who to raid. Unsure. Yeah, honestly, I'm unsure too. I'll think on it. Sleep on it. Get back to me on Thursday morning. Filed an issue on naming clarity. Boop. Alrighty. Ooh, let me show you. This is the Twitch Stream Manager. And I'm going to show you what I do to, oh, look at that recursion. I love it. To raid people. So Coding Garden, I don't actually know that I follow Coding Garden. I really don't use Twitch much other than to stream. I don't really enjoy videos as a format often myself. Ooh, this person looks good. Followed. I have followed, pardon me, I've rated CM Griffin a lot. But CM Griffin has only 29. I like rating people with fewer. Cool. So CM Griffin, prepare to be rated. Anyway, thanks so much everyone for coming to my stream. I really appreciate it. I am but a small, sad little streamer, and your participation makes me feel good. If you'd like to learn more about TypeScript-ESLint, you can always chat with me on Twitter, which at least 1 to 2 of you have done. So thank you. Whoop. 5 seconds to launch. Thank you, Javier and Ryan and everyone else. Bye.